What is up, my friends? It is time for another new player Quickstart guidey thingamabobber. Today's is going to be, if you haven't read the title already, everything to do with acronyms, abbreviations. What do these strange hieroglyphics mean? When I read chat sometimes, or I look at Party Finder, like, what does 1-2 orb way mean? What does 1-2 two-man bus 2000G mean? Ideally, what does bus mean in 1-2? Some of the stuff you can figure out, some of the stuff maybe you can't. Either way, I spent some time going through Party Finder and looking on the internet for people's questions to what does X mean. And I've compiled a list of some things. Hopefully they will be of use. Before we get into the content, the meat and potatoes as it were, Discord is finally up and running. If you haven't joined yet, please join now. I need you there because you are my best friend. Sorry if you're just finding out, but that's how it is. And of course, consider becoming a YouTube member if you'd like to help support the channel more and me doing this full time. It's not required, but it helps immensely, and I cannot thank you all enough for my current members and future members. Algorithm stuff, like, subscribe, let's go. What we have today is abbreviations, acronyms, like I was saying. So let me pull up what I have here for us today. I have this prepared. I know it is truly some revolutionary technology I've created here. I have a notepad with words in it. Now, what is a bus? So bus is pretty simple. It is the concept of you pay somebody to bus you through content. Whether it be something like a raid, like Argos, or like Vulcan, Vicus, things like that. You're paying for a bus ride. I get it. Koreans use the terminology bus. It's just a carry, you know? Carry. Paid for. That's it. This next one you'll see mostly in Guardian raids. This is mostly for like Legion raids and stuff. This next one here, Guardian raids. What the hell does FPPD, FPPC, FPPWWD mean? WW40? Like, listen, I got you. We're gonna break it down here. F equal flare. Make sense? P equal pheromone bomb. D equal destro bomba. Make sense? So, for FPPD, that would mean flare, pharaoh, pharaoh, destro. The order in which it's said matters because it's said in terms of your party number. Now, let me pop on back on over to the game. I'm not currently in a party, but if I were, over here is where your party is by default, and you would have numbers next to your name on the party list. You always show up as the first one on the party list, but your number can be anything from 1 to 4. It depends on when you join the party. If you're not making the party or you're not the party leader, you're not 1. Make sense? So look at your party number. Your party number identifies on this list what consumable you are expected to throw. I must make this adamantly clear. Some people expect you to drop these things in matchmaking. In my experience, when I matchmake personally, I don't expect anyone to do anything. If I'm going to throw something, I let people know. I think it's just common sense to let people know what you're throwing if you are so inclined. Otherwise, don't expect anything from people in matchmaking. This is typically a party finder only thing. I know it might be an unpopular take, but it's the one that is most consistent for me in my experience playing this game. So, back into the party order. Flare, F, P, pheromone, P, pheromone, D, destro. 1 is throwing flare, 2 and 3 are both throwing pheromones, 2 throws first, 3 throws second, and then 4th is throwing a destro bomb. Make sense? And then for this, oh, we have a C. You know what C is? Well, if you didn't, it's corrosive. Corrosive bomb. Makes sense? And then for WWD, we're throwing a wrench into the plan. WWD, Whirlwind, Destro. Yeah. You typically don't see this too much anymore, but in the early days of Cali, this was the go-to. We've mostly swapped over to FPPD. FPPC you're typically going to see in Congolanium, but again, these days, less so common, but it still pops up. So FPPC, 1 throws flare, 2, 3 throw Pharaoh, 2 first, 3 second. C for corrosive, corrosive at the start of the fight, before you break the shell. And then FPP WWD, what this used to be was number 1 would throw flare and both Pharaohs, and everybody else would whirlwind destro as needed. Again, you typically don't see this, but it can be a thing sometimes, or if you see something like FPP, like 1F, 2 PP, 3, 4 WWD. So something like this, 1 would flare, 2 would do both Pharaohs, 3, 4 would throw whirlwinds destros. Makes sense? Hopefully this sort of makes sense. We're going to go on to a lot easier one. X2 just means twice. So like X2 FPPD means you're running twice 1F, 2P, 3P, 4D. Makes sense? 1 throws flare, 2 throws P, 3 throws P, 4 throws Destra. And this order does not change on the second run through, even though your party number will change. You stick with what you did the first time through on the second. Doesn't matter what your party number says in the second one, you throw what you threw in the first one. Makes sense? This is another easy one. LF, LFG, LFM. Looking for group more. LF looking for, LFG looking for group, LFM looking for more. Clock spots. This can be a confusing one if you're new to the game. X3, X3 plus 1 / clock spots. All of this roughly means the same thing. X3 means you take your party number. Again, a lot of things to do with your party number in this game. And that is where you stand in an imaginary clock spot. A circle, if you will. So 1 would stand at 3 o'clock. 2, do it like this. 2 would stand at 4 o'clock. Excuse me, 6 o'clock. I was drinking some water there. 3 would stand at 9 o'clock. And 4 would stand at 12. X3 plus 1, as you might guess. Well, maybe you wouldn't guess, but maybe you would. You don't add plus 1 to the 3, so it would be times 4. You add the plus 1 afterwards, like you would expect, or most people would expect. So instead of 1 standing at 3, they would stand at 4. 2 would stand at 7, 3 would stand at 10, 4 would stand at 1. Make sense? If it doesn't make sense, don't worry. I have another amazing tool here. This is called Microsoft Paint. You might be familiar with it. I'm a bit of an artist. So we're going to draw a circle. One of the best circles I think I've ever drawn in my life. So this over here is 3. This is 6. This is 9. This is 12. Now let's do a little quiz. Party member 3, where would they stand? If you said 9, you are right. Party member 2, where would they stand? If you said 6, you were right. 1, you guessed it, 3, and 4 over here, a little squiggly line, would stand at 12. This is all clock spots are. Pretty simple to remember once you do it for a while, or if you're familiar with a clock. Then the X3 plus 1 just means you would move over slightly. So you'd stand at like 1. Would stand at like 4. Again, like 7. Like 10. Does that make sense? That's the plus 1. The plus 1. The plus... Oh god. The plus 1. And the plus 1. So basically, I'm a bit of an artist. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this makes it a bit easier. If not, I mean, you'll figure it out. You're a smart lad / laddess. Let's go back to this. G1, G2, G3, etc. Can go all the way up to G6 in some raids. This just means gate, which means sort of part of the raid. So, like, let's take Argos, for example, because everybody has had to do Argos at some point. Argos typically says phase rather than gate, but phase and gate are the same thing. So, gate 1 of Argos, gate 2 of Argos, gate 3 of Argos. It would be the first one, the second one, the third one. That makes sense? Like Vaulton, again, gate 1 would be Wolves, gate 2 would be Vaulton, E-Self. Makes sense? Vicus, again, would be the 2 demons, then Vicus with black balls, and then Vicus with the Mad Lady mode. Yeah? Capiche? Alright, 4 times support trade / support trade. Again, just anything resembling support trade. You join typically on your support character. There's 4 supports in a group. You take turns trading supports. 3 DPS, 1 support. Makes for easier runs, if that makes sense. Sorry, let me type in DPS here. Typically, the lobby leader will list out the rules that they expect. But it's safe to assume that generally people will go in party order when you join the group for who goes on supports. And then everyone else will cycle through their DPS until they get to their turn, and then they get on their support, etc. You get the idea. It's an easier way to get your 3 DPS through content, such as Guardian Raids, faster, and guaranteed a support. 1-2 Orb Way. This is specifically for Vaulton. This means you're doing gates 1 plus gate 2. And for gate 1, or gate 1, you are doing orbs first, then way second. Does that make sense? One of the mechanics in Vaulton, you spawn the orbs. When he gets to 30, you pick up the orbs, you stagger him, and then on the second orb spawn at 15, you just sit at the bottom area and you weigh. Capiche? 1-3 Way Frog. This is for Vicus. Same deal with gate 1 through 3. Way Frog simply means on gate 3, you're going to be using Way rather than Time Stop through Vicus's stagger. When she does the, I believe it's the 105 mechanic, I think it's the 105 mechanic. Yeah, it is the 105 mechanic. Listen, I know how to play this game. I've only played it a couple thousand hours. You kill the frogs. Party leader weighs the top frog and Vicus herself. They're not frogs. They're like blobby blobs. I don't know why people call them frogs. They don't look anything like frogs. But that's what they mean by weigh frog. You kill the top blob and hit Vicus stagger with Way, kill bot. You get up your gauge by standing in the middle. Get out of the middle before your gauge fills up all the way and kill the bottom blobby / frog before it kills you. Party leader will do the top and Vicus' stagger himself. EXP, simple, experienced. If you see EXP, they expect you to be experienced. Homework, it's like the same thing as experience. Some people use it. I don't know. In my experience, it doesn't really make a difference. I mean, people will join whatever. But this is supposed to mean super duper experienced, epic gamers only. But really, if I see a homework lobby, I typically avoid it because it's usually a mess. Title rec, title only, title. Basically, for clearing raids 10 times typically, you get a title. If the lobby says title or title only, they expect you to have the title equipped. Just a way to easily vet who has done this before and who has done this multiple times before. Makes sense. Title from boss kills. Shows run amount easily. TS shows run. TS means time stop. Sometimes you'll see it in lobby titles for like Vicus, like TS Frog or whatever. But I figured I'd throw that in there anyways. YY is a Chinese, let's just say Chinese Discord. It makes it simpler. It's basically Chinese Discord. That's what YY is. Horns is again similar to title, but for Belshazzar only. If you clear gate 6 on that character one time, you get a pair of horns. There is also a title for clearing gate 6 Belshazzar 10 times. So horns only means you've cleared it at least once. Title means you've cleared it at least 10 times. Different lobbies ask for different things. Okay, card run, 1-6 card run. These are just card runs. Typically, you'll see them form in the first Abyss dungeon of Party Finder, Ancient Elviria. You just do a straight run through, typically skipping Gate of Paradise. Run through all Abyssal dungeons for chance at cards. Makes sense? No bid book. Typically, you see these in free carries and Vicus bus runs. No bid book. They both mean the same thing. No bid just implies book. Sometimes you get no bid like box. Let me throw that in there. No bid box. The box part is just the thing at the end of Legion raids that hold the extra 5 materials. So like the extra Vaulton horns or the extra Vicus wings. It just means don't bid lol. Typically people if you see this in Oreha, they just will carry you. You need 4 people to go in. They'll carry you for free. And all they ask is you don't bid on the book. Fair enough. Hopefully this covered a couple things. This is all that I could think of off the top of the dome and all that I could see from the in-game party list here. Again, hopefully this helped you. You can kind of see Wave Frog homework, 1-3 reclear EXP, EXP Wave Frog. You see what I mean? If you saw this, now you perhaps know a bit more. And if you didn't, well, I'm sorry. I tried my best. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one. And again, Discord down below. And consider becoming a channel member to support. Helps me a lot. Appreciate you. I appreciate you even if you don't. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you dislike it. And of course, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what things I've forgotten. I know I forgot stuff. I picked the things that I could remember and the things that I found that typically get asked on online, forums, Reddit. I will see you all in the next one. If you made it this far and you haven't already, please subscribe. Bye!